Good afternoon and welcome to Hockey Night in Australia. I am joined by Sean O'Connor and our very special guest tonight, Aaron Wanat, the captain of the Brisbane Lightning. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you both?
Good. Great night. How are you?
Thank you for joining us, Aaron. So, look, I'd love to just launch into looking at results from the weekend and in particular Brisbane's results in Adelaide. So it's a great trip on the road when you can come home with points. And look, they didn't make it easy for you. So tell us just a little bit about the weekend and how the guys are feeling after being on a little bit of a losing streak coming into the weekend and then coming out of it with those wins.
Yeah, it was a really important weekend for us. Having the previous weekend, the Saturday in Perth was not our best go for the Lightning, but getting 6 points in Adelaide is never easy to do. They're really hard to play against. They always take it all the way to the end of the game, and they never give up. So it was very difficult to get 6 points, but much needed 6 points.
I think you hit on something really important there. It's like that. You can't take teams like Adelaide for granted. Like they may be sitting low on the ladder, but they have so much fight in them. And I think that was really evident, particularly on the Sunday game. You guys had to fight from behind to not only catch up, but get ahead and then secure the win. So how are you, what do you guys talk about behind the scenes, on the bench, in the change room, just to keep motivated and keep pushing through like that?
Yeah, absolutely. The standings really don't mean much to us when we're looking at an opponent. A team like Adelaide that's down there in the standings, it really doesn't mean anything because they can beat anybody on any given night. It's just a matter of competing, and you got to bring your best, or any team can get any team, really.
You guys have been really good at competing this season. The amount of tight battles you guys have fought over, whether at home or away, has been quite something this year. How have you found the standard of hockey this year in the AIHL?
Yeah, it's been a lot. We wouldn't like to be in as many tight games as we're in, but those tight games. I think the addition of the Sydney players to the different teams is huge. It's making it tight. The imports for each team are exceptional. You always have to know where they are, no matter who it is. And then I think over the years, all of these local guys are just getting better and better every season, and it's much more difficult to play against everybody.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of youngsters on your team who are now 3 years into their AI careers.
Yeah, we must be the youngest team in the league. I don't have a stat or anything, but I would assume we're definitely the youngest. I mean, last weekend on the road, I was the oldest, and it was by a lot at only 32. I think some of the other teams, it's not uncommon to have 8 or 9 guys, 33 to 37 years of age. So
I think you look at the Northern Ice, they've got a pretty old team at the moment.
Yeah, old or experienced?
Both.
Let's go with experienced.
Yeah.
So just we'll do a quick review of the other games across the weekend. Newcastle also had an away trip heading down to Melbourne. They faced Melbourne Ice on Saturday, Melbourne Mustangs on Sunday, and split their weekend. And it certainly was a close game on Saturday. Sorry, misreading that. 6 goals to 8. They weren't far off potentially being the first team to knock Melbourne Ice off their current win streak. And that was a fun one to watch. It was edge of the seat. And I think what would have thrown a lot of people is seeing Ishida removed towards the end of the first period. I definitely watched it. He's such a staple and an anchor in the back for them that probably was my biggest surprise of the weekend in spite of my predictions last week. So, Sean, what stood out for you?
Yeah, you definitely don't see a goalie ejected very often. But Ishida does have his moments of losing his cool. And when that happens, it's a bit unpredictable what will occur. So last weekend, I obviously was at the Canberra Rhinos game. Bit of a blowout there. It's a bit unfortunate. But for me, actually, it was this series in Adelaide between the Lightning and Adelaide, because it wasn't like the Lightning always looked like they were always destined to win those two games. They really had to fight for it. Adelaide put up good spells within both. It's, the Lightning on the road were just able to come back at them and then get the wins and secure the wins, which is massive. Because as you said earlier, I mean, the Lightning had had a little spell recently of not so good weekend, so it's always great to bounce back.
Aaron, I'm interested in your opinion. Winning at home is always great when you've got your home base, your home fans, but how important is it, and how good does it feel when you do get those points on the road where you've had travel, you're a bit more tired, it's a bit, you've got to get into the game in a different way. So how important does that feel as a unit to do that?
Yeah, anytime that you can get points on the road at all, I mean, that's always a huge bonus. Winning at home is great to have the fans there and experience that, and we do it for them and things like that. There's always sponsors in the stands, and that's great too. And but it's
you
much
guys
harder
sell
to
out
win on the
your
road.
arena as well. Like Brisbane always is packed.
Oh, there's no tickets available for the rest of the season. There's a Facebook group. People are always asking for more tickets. Can I swap? Does anybody have any? And unfortunately, nobody's even willing to give up their seats.
If there's a candidate for a city that needs a new, larger arena, it has to be Brisbane, right?
Oh, absolutely. We need one real bad, real big. We would love to see that. I think it's something that has to happen in the future. Hopefully it's not too far away.
So we might throw up the standings graphic, Sean. We'll have a quick look at it briefly. Something I do ask our guests, Aaron, is that how often, do you check the standings to see where teams are at or points, or are you more focused on game to game?
I try to stay as far away from it as possible. Although looking at it right now, it's really nice to see us. I think that's the highest we've ever been at this point in the season, of course, and it's really wonderful for us. We're proud of it, and it's motivating us to work even harder. But yeah, I know some guys do. I try not to look at it under any circumstances. No, it's just the next game, the one game at hand, one practice that's next. That's the focus.
Fair enough. Well, we'll get that off the screen, but we'll look. Every week there's movement, there's changes, and yeah, as you said, Lightning sitting up in that second spot. Melbourne Ice are a fair way away from everyone else at this point, so it kind of feels like a race for second in sort of the top there. So now that you have seen it, does that feel comfortable and a little bit nicer heading into this weekend where you're coming down to Newcastle?
No, well, not really. Newcastle is the only thing we're worried about, and they're obviously doing a lot of winning lately. They're a lot better than they were at the start, which is good for them. But we know it's going to be a very tough weekend, and we need to bring our best. We have struggled in Newcastle in the past. It's a bit of a difficult away game because of the flight and then the bus ride to get there. Generally fly into Sydney and then have the long ride, so the legs need to come with.
Yeah,
that's a long road trip. And we do get that in Australia, right? Like we've got a lot of places where you have to fly in and then hopefully be able to fly out, but also, a lot of times now, especially when you've got to play like both the Central Coast and Newcastle in one weekend, that's two different places you got to drive to. Yeah, it's tough.
In this instance, you get to stay in Newcastle overnight, so it's the double header as well. So
yeah, I don't think we had that at all last season. I believe we did the split both times that we traveled up there.
Was it last season or must have been the season before that your bags got left in Queensland?
Oh yeah, that was an interesting. We showed up at the airport that morning and walk over to the gate and look out the windows, and we could tell right away that probably wasn't going to be bags with us when we landed. It was a very small plane. We knew basically right then that Saturday wasn't happening.
That's crazy. Yeah, we very much remember that here in Newcastle. We joke about it a little bit in that we put on, like, the players jumped on the ice anyway and had a training session, but hopefully that doesn't happen again. And I feel like every time your team walks through the doors, we go, yep, you got your bags, good stuff.
Yeah, right.
So I think we had one milestone this week, Sean.
We sure did. So one milestone happens to be from Brisbane. We got Trinker here, 1,000 saves. How has it been this season, Aaron, actually having 2 new goaltenders within the team and 2 guys who have been on fire all year?
Yeah, well, we've been extremely lucky with the goaltending last year, having Nick Novi and Curtis Meager, our import goalie. They were excellent. The year before, having Steve was great, Steve Harris. And now with these guys, it just continues the good luck with goaltending. These guys are awesome. And Trinka and Dornbus, they really bring in a strong compete level, and they're always working hard, and they're very focused guys. Just watching the way that they prepare for games, each of them very different, but these guys are top of the line. They never take a day off, and they're always working on their game.
So speaking of Dornbos, I actually have a photo here from your game in Canberra where he did a very interesting celebration. I have no idea what it means, and I'm hoping perhaps you might know what it means. What's this?
Oh boy, I'm not 100%. You really never know with him what it's about. There's definitely a story to it. I'm not sure if you've seen the team's TikTok account. He's all over it. The guy is nonstop in the net in practice. I never see him do any of the things he does, but they end up on TikTok, and he's sometimes sitting on the top of the net, or he's dancing around. He's sometimes kicking pucks, he throws them in the air. I don't know, He's gold.
He sounds like the kind of guy that just brings character to the team.
He does, and it helps. He helps with a lot of the young guys and have them settle in, and keeps things loose and fun, and we love it.
That sounds great.
So how has the team gelled this year? So you've had a bit of turnover compared to other years. Like, does it take a while to gel, or because it seemed like you guys were really clicked in very early this season compared to some of the other teams?
Yeah, it was. It's been very interesting. Other years, a lot more guys from the previous season, but this year, I don't know what it was. Everybody seemed to gel very quickly. The chemistry happened immediately. Guys got to know each other very quickly, and they've been having fun the whole way. Lots and lots of fun. Yeah,
I noticed that when you guys came to Canberra, like, you guys just seem to be, having fun's probably the right word on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're here to compete, and we're trying to win as much as we possibly can. But if you're not having fun, you're going to struggle to win. These guys are always keeping it loose, and it's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, fantastic. And look, I guess that's you hit the nail on the head there. When you're playing and get too lost in the stress of it, I feel like mindset can slip. Would you find, like, particularly in this league, it's getting younger, it's getting faster, players are more agile, like, maintaining that mindset of enjoying what you're doing would make you work harder and better, right?
Absolutely, yeah. When you're having fun, it's much easier to play a lot harder. And when you like the guy next to you and you're having fun with them on and off the ice, you're a lot more willing to battle for them in the corners, and it just all comes together that way. If you don't have that, you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah,
I'm sure it also helps with trying to round them up as captain, right? To get them to do what you want.
Yeah. It's I'm pretty hands off. The guys, they take care of themselves.
I've got a bit of a two-part question. So you mentioned, you've got one of the youngest teams in the league. I'd love to know a bit more about the development and growth that's happening under the AIHL. So your juniors programs and how is that feeding into the AI? The second part being, Brisbane Lightning have been back in the AIHL for the last couple of years. How much of a difference has that made for the pathway and the motivation for those kids to play and love it and get out to games?
Yeah, it's been great for Brisbane to have the team and everything like that. the juniors benefit. We were on the ice with them Tuesday night. We were with the under-18 team before they left. Or no, they didn't leave yet. They've got Newcastle next weekend, I believe. But we had a skate with them. I think 14 of us showed up with that, and maybe 4 or 5 guys from our team are on that team. So that's great for them. And I think them having a place to look up to go to next has been huge for them, and they all want to get to the Lightning as quickly as they can. They're all working hard, and it's been huge for Brisbane. I think, and seeing all the young kids at all the games, they seem to all love it, and they never miss a game. So.
And Sean touched on it a few minutes ago, just that you're selling out. So I think for you mentioned to us off air that you've been around since around 2019. You were part of the exhibition series for Brisbane before they entered in to the tournament. Tell us about that growth, just the community getting started, realizing they had a team, to the point now where you are selling out the venue.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride. I came in halfway through the exhibition season, and I'm pretty sure there's a large number of people who were there then who are here now, and they've brought family members and friends, and it's grown exponentially. I think there's maybe 500 or 600 or so people that come to the home games, and we have talked about it. The guys, they say, how many do you think would come if there were more seats? And I've said, I think you could get to 5,000. I really do.
If you look at Canberra, and we had one of the smallest rinks in Canberra for quite a while, and now we've got the AIS Arena, and they're packing out 3,000 because that's the capacity of that venue. I think hockey is, it could grow so much in this country if we had the venues to do so.
The capacity.
Absolutely. Yeah. It will. I think it's only a matter of time. I think, like you said, there's 3,000 at AIS, and they're selling all those tickets. And, we don't know if there were 8,000 or 10,000, could they have packed that out too? Probably, So it's great.
Speaking of the AIS, how was it playing there when you came down?
Oh, it was a really good time. It's such an interesting place with the seats being so high up above us. It's like you can almost forget the people are above you because it's so high above the glass and you're focused on the game. But then, you score a goal, or they score a goal, not us. We scored, it went silent. They score a goal, and it's so loud. It was like, oh, I forgot you guys were up there.
Yeah, I did think of this the other day. I had a look, and I was looking at the glass. I'm like, oh yeah, so finally Canberra has an arena with glass around it. But yeah, as you say, everyone's so high, it's almost irrelevant that there's glass.
Yeah, well, when you're trapped in your zone, it's not irrelevant. You're able to use it. That's always good. That part, and then the only thing that is really interesting, I think, wouldn't have been anticipated, is around the sides, outside of the glass, where those seats come down. There's like black curtains. Yeah, and there is a tendency for the puck to be, when it's in the air, you can lose it pretty quickly in there.
Yeah, right.
That was an interesting adjustment in there.
It's interesting because I think they had the same thing in Dunedin in the Trans-Tasman. They actually asked for the curtains to be removed because they were black and the puck was being lost. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. You get used to it. Sunday was good.
Yeah. So we've got a few comments here from some of the guys that I'll bring up. So we've got Eric Bellner of the Adelaide Adrenaline. I would jump through a table in Western New York parking lot for this player. Hashtag Mafia. So you got some fans there. And Damien Bright, of course. What a guy.
Oh, our captain, Damien. We love that guy. We miss him. He's got to come skate out of practice with us soon. He hasn't been out in quite a while, and we need to get him on the ice with some of us.
All right, Damien, you hear that? You better come out. And then Andrew McDougall, who's a friend of the show, he's actually got a question here. What's it like playing in the coldest rink in Australia?
It's actually good. It's been Boondall's been colder than ever this year. Everybody's been noticing it. The away teams are noticing it. The ice has been really good, especially compared to the beginning of last year. I think it was warmer, and we had some soft spots in the corners. But yeah, it's great. Once you get warmed up, you don't notice. I don't know about the fans though; they probably notice.
Yes, I don't think there's
know
any.
when I've been there. Not fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because Doopy also said that when he went there, he also said it was absolutely freezing. Because I know Canberra used to be similar, but I don't think it was as cold as Brindle.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but it's good. We like it.
Look, if it makes the ice sheet that bit faster to skate on, why not? It's better hockey, right?
That's right. Between that and then having the lines this year, that's all we can ask for. It's great.
Awesome. Love seeing facilities get those upgrades. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Scoring leader, Sean. Let's have a quick review of that.
No worries. So it's really closed up this week.
Oh wow, yeah.
So between the top 6, there's only like 3 points difference.
Yeah. Wow. I was getting a bit lost in those names there. It's very interesting to see Hikosaka dropping down the list. So hopefully after a double this weekend, he might get a few more, make his way up.
That shows how competitive he is, right? Like he has one weekend off because Perth didn't play.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's dropped from 2nd to 5th.
Yeah. And Timon's still sitting in the top. So in spite of going off on the weekend, he didn't come back on during the Melbourne Ice Mustangs game. And we don't, not sure what happened there, but we do send our best out to him. He's still sitting in top spot. So we will see how that goes. And, Hop's sitting in 2nd. You'd love to see it, Aaron. Someone from your own team.
Absolutely love to see it. Look at that smile. Look at him. That's a great picture.
So how's Tanner fitting into the team? Like I made a graphic a few weeks ago, sort of the Fab 5, because you guys have like 5 players who have a lot of points this year. Obviously one of them has left, but the other 4, you guys are still there. So it's
for sure.
Great to see. And they have been coming in and out of this top 5 for the league because they're there or thereabouts.
Yeah, it's great. Hops is a huge addition for us. He's a great guy and he's a real fun player to play with for sure. Look what he does. Just watching the way he can move the puck and the way that he can score goals is really great. It's good to see Sasha Rapchuk in the mix with the points as well. He's having a great year. He gets better every year, young guy. He just keeps scoring. It's all you can ask for.
And even his younger brothers also, they're under him as well on the scoring charts for you guys. So
Aaron's in there as well. Yeah, he's a really good scorer too, and they play on the same line together. It's great.
I remember talking to Aaron one week. It was after a nationals tournament that was held in Newcastle, just about being on a team with family, and he mentioned that it can give them a bit of an edge because they spend time shooting and practicing at home, and they just know each other. So, what's it like being a teammate with siblings and their dad's on the bench with? I think he's the medic, he's the doctor, right?
Yeah. Well, he's and then he's the GM, of course. Ivan wears all the hats whenever he needs to, is what he does. Yeah.
It does.
So what's it like just seeing those family units like come through? We've got them all through the league, but obviously the Rapchucks being the ones closest to you, and Katrina on the ADub team. So a very talented family.
Yeah, it is. We always tell Aaron and Sasha both that we just wish that they were as good as Katrina. That's all we really want. You can be as good as your younger sister. Why can't you be as good as her? No, but having the Rapchucks around is huge for us. Chantel's the team manager, and without them, I don't know where we would be. Pretty lost, honestly. They fill a lot of roles in a lot of places for us. But it's great having Aaron and Sasha together. They're very different guys, but they get along really great, and they play together as well as you could ask. So really not much else to those guys. It's really good.
Speaking of that family and the ADub, I wanted to ask, I've noticed often between I think it's the end of this season before the ADub season, there'll often be a black versus white Lightning, and you mix the women's team in with the men's. Tell us a little bit about those games and the relationship. I feel like the two Lightning teams have one of the best co-working relationships across AI to ADUB. So what do you think makes that work? And tell me about some of those exhibition games, because from what I see in photos, they look like fun. I just wish they were streamed.
Oh yeah, well, we should stream it this year because it really is. It's a ton of fun. We love playing in that game. It's great for both teams to have that camaraderie and work together, and then crossing over fans. And some of ours see them, and then get to started with watching them and hang out for the season with those guys. And it's just really great to mix in and have that day and that skate. We love it.
So I imagine you've had firsthand experience playing with Katrina because of that, to prove that she's better than her brothers.
Oh, of course, yeah. We've had a number of ice times, even in season, where some of the girls come out, and it's really nice to have them out. And I think Lindsay Quilnick skated with us the other night. Another one, excellent score. I got an assist on a shot from her in a scrimmage, so that was good. But yeah, no, it's really good.
Oh, I love that. Look, honestly, I think we're ADUB teams that have potential connections to other teams local. I'd love to see more of it, because the women's games are actually a lot of fun. So anyone out there that's looking for hockey in summer, we will be covering the AIHL, and that happens from October to March. So yeah, we will continue with these podcasts and have some of the girls on, which I'm looking forward to. So might have to add Katrina to the list.
Absolutely, better.
Might jump into the fixtures, Sean. Let's have a look at this weekend coming. And straight off the bat, we've touched on it a little bit. Newcastle will be hosting Brisbane Lightning, and we've been putting our posts out this week for NAIDOC Round. So I'm very lucky I've got one of the jerseys behind me, and looking forward to seeing our guys wearing them. So taking advantage of the platform, Newcastle fans, wear your white jerseys this week. I know we normally fans are normally in blue, but we need you in the white. And there will be some of these jerseys available to buy. And we're not the only teams doing NAIDOC jerseys. So Perth will also be playing on Saturday in their jersey. And Sunday night, Mustangs played in theirs. So I really enjoy the change of the design. I know Sean and I have talked a few times about it. Tell us about your favourites, Sean.
My favourites. I love the Newcastle blue one behind you from last season. That was such a good jersey. And I know Brisbane have done it before too. You guys had a black one, I think it was 2 years ago. And the Brave played in a grey NAIDOC Week jersey as well when they went up there. So I know different teams get involved. So it's always great to see.
So yeah, there will be orders available as well. So jump on late for Perth as well. Jump on their socials. Check out getting pre-orders, custom orders. I think they're fun jerseys to buy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I missed out. We auctioned ours off, and I actually didn't get my own. Somebody outbid me for that one. And I, looking at these, those are nice. I still think ours was the best.
That's fair.
That's fair. So the other games of the weekend, Brave are hosting the Mustangs and Perth are hosting the Rhinos. So some big games there points-wise. So Melbourne Ice and Adelaide Adrenaline both getting a week off. And I think there's going to be some interesting games and potentially some good results. I think I'm most excited for Brisbane North Stars, because I've been saying on the podcast all year, Aaron, that you're such a dark horse in the league this year. But with what you can produce, the way you've been playing, every year it just gets better and better. And so I even though I am a North Stars fan, I think the games could go either way, and I'm excited to see what they look like. How about you, Sean?
Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah, look, I agree. I think that series is a phenomenal series. It's really hard to predict. I would kind of lean down towards the split weekend personally, but you never quite know what will happen. But also that Brave Mustang series is going to be a big series as well, because the Lightning have been involved in a three-way tussle with Perth and the Mustangs in that sort of top half of the table. Every week, everyone seems to change which position they're in. But the Mustangs have been going through a bit of difficulty mid-season, a bit of bad form themselves, and the Brave have started to pick up some form. So be interesting to see how that will go. And it could come down very well to how Timmins is going. So if Timmins will play or not. Hopefully he does, because it'd be good for the hockey. But yeah, obviously Brave fans will probably be going, please no Timmins. That will make our life easier.
So I would like to touch on the Lightning North Stars round. Aaron, what are you doing, like, as a team? What are you doing coming into this prepping this weekend? I find when I talk to a lot of opposition who are coming to face Newcastle, and we touched on it at the start of the pod, that not always an easy team to beat. But this one thing that has been evident this league so far this year is it is anybody's game. It's not an easy that team's going to win or that team's going to win. It's so what's your prep for this week and a big doubleheader?
For us, coming into Newcastle, we know historically that we forget our legs to go to Newcastle, and we need to bring them with us. And just making sure that everybody on our team is buying into the plan, and we're all going to execute that to the best of our ability, because it's so important when you play a team like Newcastle. They're very organized. They don't make a ton of mistakes for running gun attacks. You have to execute on your chances. You have to play just as organized as they do.
What's it like actually having a new coach this year, Aaron? Because you've obviously changed coaches. Terry is no longer in that position. Has that made a big difference to how you prep for games?
Not entirely. I think most of the game preps, things like that, are very similar. Terry is still involved as a video coach, and he talks to Krister quite a bit. And most of the difference from coach to coach is personality and just different ways to achieve the same result. Really, they both work extremely hard and just vastly different ways. Yeah.
Love it. See, I think that's great. There can be a lot of value there if you taking on something like you have your knowledge of coaches of past, but a fresh perspective can often create new opportunities, new plays, new structure, just new mindset to a game. So do you find that's contributed to your style this season? Because I feel like Lightning's really come out with such a strong structure this year, where that first year was a very physical approach to the years following are more hockey.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been quite a bit different design, the way that we play and the way that we want to organize our team. And it has a lot to do with different styles and methods, of course, but it's I'm not sure.
We have a great comment in the chat from a Canberra local, I believe, Leroy Peterson. Love the way Brisbane's been playing. Keep it up, guys. So, agreeing with us there that you've had such a great season so far. So, for me, getting to see you live on the weekend, I'm very excited. And
can't wait.
Yes, Leroy is also, what a start. He's also a big fan of Aaron here, and Leroy is the owner of the Caribou Kingston. So get on down to Caribou if you're in Canberra.
And follow him on Instagram. Those guys, they know how to throw a party.
Yeah. There are a few other comments here. So David Cahill, the Lightning are attracting some great corporate sponsors in Brisbane now, and it's because of professional ambassadors of sport like Aaron. So you got a lot of fans here, Aaron. And then before that, Joshua Francis, it's cold in there. Love it, though, every game. So I think that's definitely Brisbane fans do feel the cold in that arena.
They're feeling the cold. Yeah, they know.
There's one other comment here, which is actually a question for you, Aaron. Who do you love or hate to play against, teams or players?
Oh, geez, that's a super good question. Well, for me, I try to make friends with everybody around the league, as to not get punched in the head or anything. But oh god, Adelaide would be a team that's not a good time to play against because they want to win just as much as anybody else, and they play hard and they forecheck hard, and you don't want to get hit by those guys in the corner. That's for sure. I'd say
the Darcy Flanagan effect.
Yeah, something like that. As far as love to play against, oh geez, probably the Mustangs are a good group of guys. They're always fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Surprised Newcastle wasn't in that list. So looking ahead, let's jump into our predictions. So we've got our 3 predictions each week. We like to look at a surprise from the weekend, who we think the biggest scorer will be, and who the best defense will be. So let's launch into those.
No worries. Here's the first one. All right, biggest good surprise. Courtney, who have you got this week?
It's a tough one because I often like to support our guests, but this week you're against the North Stars, so I'm hoping
that'll be difficult.
It is. Look, while I'm very much hoping North Stars get some points, I hope Rhinos can churn out a win. They've had a bit of some adversity, losing some key players, but I hope they can churn out a bit of a win in their matchups this weekend.
What about you, Aaron? You got a surprise for us?
Oh, a surprise for you guys. Well, cover your ears, Courtney. 2 Brisbane Lightning wins.
That would be a good surprise for all the Brisbane fans. So that's good.
That's right.
Mine was sort of leaning towards yours there, Courtney. I actually had down a split weekend in Perth between the Rhinos and the Thunder. I think that would be a good surprise, especially for a very wary bunch of Rhinos fans at the moment. I had a good chat with some of them last weekend, and they're still traveling around in quite good numbers to away games, but it's pretty tough right now. So I'm hoping for a bit of a surprise up there or out west. All right, second one. Goalhorn Breaker, so this is top scorers. So, Courtney, what do you think?
I'm going to go different angles. So normally I pick a single player, but if we learned anything from last weekend, it's usually bundles where teams are getting big scores, like 6-8 and 7-4. Like they're big numbers. So I think we might see a fair few goals this weekend. Newcastle Brisbane. I don't think it's going to be like a 2-1 kind of game. I think we're probably looking at more like 5-6 and higher scores out of both games.
That's fair. And Aaron, what do you think?
I don't know. I'd have to agree, I guess. Maybe not.
If it was Brisbane, for instance, who do you reckon would be the highest scorer for Brisbane this weekend?
Tanner Hops.
That's fair. All right. My prediction is actually my team's going to be the Canberra Brave. I think they're on for another big weekend. The Mustangs are good, but I just think the Canberra attack's sort of clicking into place now. The chemistry is really building up, especially with the new imports they've got. So, I'm predicting Canberra to score big this weekend. The Blue Line defenders. Okay, so who's going to have the stingiest defense this weekend, Courtney?
I feel like Oberoi just plays incredible every week. So I'm hoping, I would love to see him have another strong week. But I think it's going to be the Mustangs Brave. In that game, I think that might be the closest scoreline of the weekend.
That's fair.
Yeah, both teams have been really solid. Both teams are getting stronger every week. We put out an article that the way Brave are playing, they're just getting stronger and stronger every game, which is what they did last season. But Mustangs also putting up like a good fight against every opposition. They're not an easy pushover team. So yeah. I think those two together will be another interesting pair of games.
Yeah, especially when you got Wishart and Mike Georgie there. They're very tough defenders to get past. So, yeah. Aaron, what are you thinking? He's got the best defense this weekend.
Well, I think Central Coast is going to have their hands full trying to get past Perth's defense. That Hasselhurst guy is pretty difficult to handle when he's turning pucks up the ice on you. Go with them, Perth.
Yeah, that's fair. Perth have a very strong defense, whether it be Kudler or Woodman or Hasselhurst. All of them. They've got some big hitters on their team as well. So, quite a physical team this year, Perth. Personally, I'm going with the North Stars, and it was a toss-up between the Lightning or the North Stars, but I've gone the North Stars purely based on Tristan Metcalf's article, his Tale of the Tape this week, where he's got the shots against per game, and Newcastle, against Brisbane, only concede normally 29 shots a game compared to 43 the other way. So on that basis, I'm going with Newcastle.
That has actually been
that's previous games for us against them.
Yeah, so that's the head-to-head. Yeah, I mean that could have nothing to do with how it's going this year. But yeah,
look, that's been a bit of a trend this year for Newcastle, and something I've talked to Coach Kev Noble about is I think almost every game we've played this season we've outshot our opponents. So
yeah, it's a great stat to have in your column because, the Brave were so dominant for so many years and they used to outshoot everyone. The last couple of years, they've been outshot a lot in a lot of games, and they've gone through seasons where they've lost a lot of games because of that. It's kind of a good trend. If you're outshooting your opponents, you're probably going to score more goals.
Yeah, you would think so. Then you face
doesn't always happen, but yeah.
But then you face such solid goalies at the other end, and it's not always easy to get through the goalie. You might get the shot.
Yeah, that's true.
It's much harder to get through the level of goaltending we have in this league this year. So that's it's one thing to get it through the 5 players on the ice. It's then another to get it through someone as solid as Ashita and Dawn Boss. All those goalies out there that are just playing incredibly well. So.
Which is every team, right? Like everyone's got good goalies now.
Yeah, and sometimes having so many shots can just lead to a goalie getting on a hot streak, and it can be more problems than they'd want it to be that way.
It's kind of like, traditionally, like Kimlin would face a lot of shots even at the Bears, but unless they're actually like tricky shots where you've got people screening and all this, he just catches them all day long. Like he's like, whatever, if you're just going to shit on me, you're not going to score. So it does depend on what else you're doing to be able to. Yeah. That's it.
Friend of the show, Anthony Russell's just dropped a comment, and he's spot on, saying, I always take shots on goal with a pinch of salt. Give me high-quality shots. 50 shots a night is a thing, but if 45 are taken from the car park, it's a fluffy shot, a fluffy stat. And look, you're not wrong. That's shots from the blue line that chasing a rebound are one thing, but those ones that are up close, that they're the ones that should be going in.
And we've got a couple of other comments here too. Again from Leroy. I got Brisbane over Newcastle this week. Let's go, Aaron. 5-2, my take. I'm sure Brisbane fans will be happy with that.
We're all coming to the Caribou.
Ice Pack here. All I have to say is good luck, and I hope you get a donut on the scorecard versus the North Stars. Newcastle for the win. So we've got different fans for the different teams making their feelings heard.
That's great. That's what it's all about.
Well, that brings us to final thoughts of the night. Anything else that you have coming up this weekend, Sean, that you want to throw in?
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to all our photographers this week who actually spent an evening talking to Bruce Bennett from America. So Bruce is 51. He's been working for 51 years shooting the NHL. He's the head of ice hockey photography for Getty Images. So our photographers were getting a number of good insights from him about how to shoot better photos. So hopefully we'll get to see the fruits of that within the coming weeks. So our Togs, it's great to see them to get some professional help there and professional development.
Awesome. Anything else you wanted to mention, Aaron, about the weekend or anything coming up for Lightning?
Just hopefully 6 points for Brisbane. That's what's coming up. Hopefully. Thanks so much.
Close that gap to the ice, right?
Yeah.
Close the gap. Yep. Look, my final thoughts, I just want to throw out the national championships are happening starting tonight, actually, in Perth, which that's the women's boxall, the Defree, the Tange, and I'm missing one because there's a fourth. And I just want to send all the best out to the players. They'll be playing over the next, I think it's the next 5 to 10 days. Jump on the Ice Hockey Western Australia socials. There are links. There is it's streaming live on YouTube. We'll be sharing some of the content across as well onto the Oz Hockey Media platform, so we can support our juniors, because these are the future of the future players of the AIHL and the AWIHL. I know personally we've got about 6 North Stars in every team, so we're very excited to see some great success come out of these tournaments from New South Wales side. And you mentioned too, Aaron, that you've got players on your team heading over there shortly. So yeah, we're sending our best to all of them, and we'll do our best to cover it and keep you updated with results. So on that, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for commenting and being a part of tonight. Aaron, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I hope training's good tonight, and very much looking forward to seeing you on the weekend. I'll come and say hello.
Excellent. We'll see you there. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being on, Aaron.
Have a great night, everyone. I am going to throw one more thing in. If you or anyone you know want to sponsor our podcast, we are all volunteers here, and there are a couple of expenses we are eager to just get some support on covering. Reach out to our social media, and we'd love to hear from you. So have a great night. Get out to your local rinks and enjoy some hockey live. If you can't get there live, jump on AIHL.tv, and we will return next week with Hockey Night in Australia. Good night.